Hi guys, this is Arif from TechShare. Today I'm going to explain some of the terms that we use in XM Cloud environment, which is environment itself. So it is really important to understand what is environment and how you can configure your different environment, which is so easy. And how can you connect your local instance to one of the environments and deploy your artifacts in there. So let me go through one by one. So if you log into your Sitecore XM Cloud portal, then this looks like this. So I can see I actually have two XM Cloud account. So if you have multiple, then it will ask you which account you're going to log in when you are going to logging in the portal. And once you select, then you will land in the home page like this. Now you need to go to the deploy app as well. So this is my deploy app and my project is this one. So you can see here I have two environments, which is this Arif dev and prod, and creating environment is so easy. So if you want to use a partial script or CLI, .NET CLI, that's really easy command. So we have a Sitecore cloud command for that, which is environment create, and then you need to specify the name of the environment and the project ID associated for that environment. So easy. But if you want to create from here, it's just clicking and put a name here, environment name. Couple of very important terms I need to explain, and you have to specify whether it is a production environment or not. That is really important, because if you configure that environment as your production, then you can basically basically, once your environment is tested, other environment which is a non-prod, you can basically promote that build to a production build, and that will basically use your production environment, and it will ask you if you have multiple production environment, which production environment you are going to promote for that particular non-production build. Then you need to specify that one, and that will be deployed in that production instance environment. So this is very important. So you can see here, you just need to specify the name of the production environment, environment name, and then link to a branch, which is very, very important. You can specify a branch here that is already you have connected to your GitHub. If you don't want to, then you just need to specify none. This is also all right, and I'll explain in which circumstances you can use that branch. If you don't link, then how you basically connect or get your artifacts, or if you link the branch, then what is the other option. So that is also a very important thing. I will also explain that one. And then once everything is done, you just need to create. So I already have created two environment. There is a limitation at this moment. You can only create 3 environments, if I am not mistaken. But yeah, and then you just need to go from there. So now I have a dev environment which is connected to my feature branch, one of the feature branch that I have created before. And then production, obviously I did not assign any branch for production. So my intention is I'll promote one of my non-production build, or to the production. That's why I did not connect anything here. Now this is that. So there are a couple of things as well I will also like to explain here, which is, if you go, so environment means obviously it has associated with everything. So your Sitecore XM cloud basically will give you the content editor, experience editor, your pages application component, all those things you will get. So for example, I have this environment, and then you can see all those different build or deployment that happens here. So if I now go to the option, and you can simply open the dashboard here. So if you open the dashboard, then basically it will land your dashboard page of that particular environment, and you'll see it's basically has a typical sort of a XM environment where you have the different site, definite. I mean, you can create your sites, you can manage your items like a Sitecore CM basically. So here you can see, if I go to the dashboard, click that launch pad icon, then that view is slightly different comparing to the typical XM instance or XP instance we have in Sitecore. That's a bit different. It's taking a bit time. Let me wait for a while here. Come on. Okay, no worry. Yeah, I don't know why it is again, but anyway, now you'll see it will, yeah, it's just coming. So see here, this is not it, sort of we are used to of having this kind of view, but this is really easy. So you can create a website straight away here, and it would be here in a sort of a tile, and then you can basically one of the sort of website you can directly click, and basically it will open the page application, and inside the page application the site will be running. You can create another website obviously, and then if you click the so there are other options here as well. So you can see all those different things. There is a settings as well where you could potentially do a lot of different things like the site name, site identifier, and most importantly the developer settings. Through that you can generate the API key, and that API key is important because if you want your edge token to be generated, this is basically the easiest option for you. Now if you click the tools, then you will see this basically looks like our very sort of common look and feel that we normally used to see in XM, and here you can see all those different apps. This page app, component explorer, content editor, experience editor, and things like that. so that's all about the environment, right? And now for example, you are basically in your local instance. So let me open my project. So I have a project that I have created here, and see here, this project basically this is a full stack development. So if you want to set up your full stack development environment in XM Cloud, for XM Cloud, then you need to spin up the Docker, and yeah, that's really easy. So if you connect, if you use a Sitecore default template that Sitecore provides, then you will get everything out of the box. So you just need to initialize the environment and just simply to up the instance. That's all you need to do. So here I have already, so you can see here my Docker is already running. So if I click my Docker, then you will see everything is running fine here. So I have a couple of containers not running though, which is all right. So there, if they don't run, then still there won't be any issue. So my rendering is running, my CM is running, and now for example you have some changes. So you have a platform project where you might modify something, which I have here. Let me bring my platform project for this one, which is that one second. So if you go to the rootful directory, then you will see the structure of the project is like this, which is also very important. So if I go here, then you will see this is my top or root level project directory, where you have this init PowerShell script, and then up PowerShell script and down PowerShell script. At the same time, there is a solution. That solution basically has, so if you go to the source and platform, this is basically the platform project. And if I open that solution, then my Visual Studio will look like this. Here, if you have any customization that you want to make, for example, you have a custom sort of configuration, you have some custom pipeline that you modify, whatever you do, you need to deploy, right? At the same time, if you have something in your rendering host that you have modified, then you also need to deploy that part as well. That's when that environment is very vital, because you have to understand, or you have to decide which environment you are going to push your changes, so that you can test that one and you can basically progress with your development and implement your feature, things like that. And once your sprint is completed, or you are in a position to deploy or promote that particular changes to the production instance or environment, then you have to basically do that transition. and that is really automatic. So let me tell you how can we do that. So in the local instance, there are Sitecore CLI, XM Cloud command line interface, and they are really self-explanatory. So what you need to do first is you need to use that .NET Sitecore Cloud. This is fixed always. Now you have to type which one you need. So for example, I need the login. So I have already logged in. So once you do that, basically it will prompt you that login, things like that. Then the next thing you need to do is you need to understand how many projects you have, and through the project you need to get the list of environments, and then you can connect one of the environments. So the thing is very easy again, .NET Sitecore Cloud. Then you can see you need the environment list, but you need the project list first. So if you just type project list, then you'll be able to see how many projects you already have under that account that you logged in. So here you will see a lot of projects, but I know my project is this one, so I need the project ID. So I double click and right click. So I basically copied that ID. Now this project ID will be used to get the list of environments. So this is very simple. So instead of project list, I just need now cloud, and then environment list, and then you have to specify the project ID here. So this is my project ID. Then you will see I have that two environments that you saw in my portal. One is my prod environment, another one is for my Arif dev environment. Now I am going to push all the changes, or maybe I need to connect to my dev environment so that I can either upload my artifacts to the dev environment, or if I need to do any serialization, that I need to pull or push some of the items to my environment or from my environment, then I need to connect my environment first, right? So that is also very easy. So what you need to do is there is environment connect command. So the same way you need to use .NET Sitecore Cloud, and then environment, then connect ID. So here you need the environment ID. So we are going to use this environment, right? So I'll copy the environment ID, because project ID is not necessary at this moment, and you use this one. Then there is another thing you need to use is sorry, I might miss something. And then here you also need to tell whether you are going to allow write or not. What that will do is, if it will first check whether that particular kind of environment is exist. If it exists, then it will connect, and since you are putting allow write, which basically means you can basically push your serialization changes at the same time you can upload your artifacts, because you are allowing the write to this environment. Now that's basically it. So now, for example, you have changes, since I also have changes, right? So you want those changes to be part of that environment, so that you can have a deployment running in that environment with your changes. Therefore your QA can test it, and you can move to the next step of the development phase. And for that there are a couple of options. If your environment is already connected to GitHub, so let me go here, then you cannot upload your artifacts. So very important thing, guys. So I already have Arif dev connected, so let me go to the Arif dev environment one more time. Then you'll see I already have option link environment to another branch. You'll see I have already connected to this feature display name branch. Therefore you will not be able to so what the next step is, you need to trigger this deployment here, build and deploy. So you can do this in two ways. Either you can connect your environment to a branch, and that way you don't need to worry. What you need to do is you just need to push your changes to the repository, and then come here and just trigger the deployment. That's all you need to do, build and deploy. Then what it will do, it will get your source code and everything from the branch, and then it will basically do the deployment with your changes. Very simple. Sometimes you might not choose that option to connect a branch. You can make that one empty, or there is no connected branch, like none. Then you can basically do through, so you need to push the changes obviously, and that will not do anything from the XM Cloud side, because XM Cloud doesn't know anything about your branch or anything. So you have to then tell from here that, hey, I am going to upload the artifacts from here to my certain environment. So that is also possible. So there is another command which is .NET Sitecore Cloud, which is always same, and then you need to say, hey, let me deployment. So this is a part of deployment, create, and then you need to say which environment. So you have to provide the environment ID, and I have environment ID here, and then you need to say, hey, just upload my artifact here. So if I now enter, I will not be able to, because my that deployment, so that environment has already connected to my GitHub. So it will tell you that, hey, sorry, it is not possible for you to create a deployment from here, because and upload, because this environment is already linked to a branch. You can see here. But if you did not, then obviously you will be able to do that one. So once your environment is up to date, or your artifact is pushed through your deploy, create, upload commands from here, or through your you push the changes, and from there you can basically get it running, then yeah, your changes will be deployed to that particular environment. And that's basically it. You just need to follow that process, and eventually or progressively you will be able to roll out your release. Now here I will basically show you guys a couple of things, and that's all. So in that environment level, if there is any issues you face, so for example, the deployment fails, or all right, or maybe there are some issues you need to investigate the CM side, you are having some issues, or you want to trigger a publish, but the publish did not work well to the edge environment for that environment. So everything you would be able to see from here. So if you go here, CM instance log, so this is CM, because XM Cloud there is nothing other than CM, everything is CM. So in the CM side you will see all those different things. So you have the log, you have a client log, crawling log, the normal log that we normally use, rendering host log. So if you want to see the rendering host log, and that rendering host is basically not the rendering host you are deploying outside, like in Vercel. It's not like that. Vercel log you need to extract from there. It is basically when you are uploading your artifact, and there is a internal application hosted itself inside the XM Cloud, so that your page application can work, your other thing can work by out of the box. Yeah, so it is that rendering host. And yeah, so sometimes it is really handy. So if you expand the log, then you will see all those different logs. So if you click here, and then you will be able to see those typical sort of Sitecore logs here. Inside the details, you will be able to see all those details of that particular environment, and that is also very useful. For example, this is your or a Sitecore API host, Sitecore host, you can say. So you can click that on, and it will go to the Sitecore, typical Sitecore URL. And then variable, very important. So if you want to create some environment variable, you will be able to create that one here. So after the deployment, basically, or during the deployment, it will take those environment variable, and accordingly, whatever the places you have in that configuration level, or wherever you have used, it will be impacted there. And then yeah, that's all. Once the deployment is done, then basically you can do things here. The other thing is, if you want to remove environment, which is also very easy, you just need to go, and from there you can basically delete the environment. By the way, you cannot delete the project without deleting the environment, so you have to go and delete your environment first, and only then you will be able to see this delete project enabled. Other than that, it will always be disabled. I guess that's all for today. So hope you guys have some idea about what is project, what is environment, especially in Sitecore, and how you are going to configure your different environment, push your changes in different ways, like through your GitHub or from the local instance. And how could you promote your promote is let me tell you the promotion part as well. So for example, here you can say so in the build and deploy, you can definitely trigger the build and deploy. But if you click this one, so this one is already completed, see, and you want this one to be promoted, so then you can say, hey, promote this one. Then it will tell you which one you are going to promote. So it will only allow all those production. So when you create the environment, it will tell you or ask you that it is a non-prod or production environment. So it will basically tell you, and you can basically select that on, and that way it will, that particular build will be promoted here. Yeah, I think that's all from my side today. Hope it is helpful, guys. If you find it helpful, then subscribe my channel, ask me any question if you have in the comment section of the video, and yeah, chat you very soon with a new video. Till then, bye bye.